Good morning, good evening. Just made it in time, just in time rather. So, a very warm welcome to all of you to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Hope you all are doing good or having a great start to your day. Today, we will start with a new shloka uh, and 520, and we will have a discussion around that topic. So, let me share my screen and we shall get started. Give me a sec. I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so Radhe Radhe, once again, let's get started with our opening prayers like we always do. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Par Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay, so Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. So let's get started with our soul soup segment like we always do. And today we're going to introduce a new shloka as well, by the way. Sec. All right. We'll get back to the shloka. Let's first get to the soul soup segment. So as part of this segment, we are talking about science of mind management. And within that, we are talking about the power of habits. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, on one hand, let's say you have some kind of an incentive to do something. Okay, that incentive comes in form of greed. You'll be paid something. So that's one side, you have greed. And other side, let's say the incentive, or I said lack of it, is fear. Which one would you be motivated with? Anybody wants to take that? And why do you think so? You think greed is a bigger motivator or fear is a bigger motivator for humans? Anybody who knows that? Okay. While others are thinking, go ahead, Sandhya.
Um, okay. I think what works generally is fear. In humans, but ideally, I would say, if one has to choose between the two, greed is better according to me, especially when it comes to spiritual
So I think
motives.
psychologically humans are, yeah, I get that where you're leading to. So let me continue.
Mm.
So psychologically, it is seen that, when it comes to between these two, the fear outweighs greed. So if I tell you, if you do good thing, something good, let's say you are incentivized to build a good habit and you will be given $1,000 in your bank account every day. On one hand, you are given that incentive of, some deposit happening in your bank account. On the other hand, say, if you don't do it, $1,000 will be deducted from your account. Okay, so that deduction part is more impactful. Okay, so fear works more when it comes to human psychology than the greed part of it. Okay, because now you're losing something. So, given that part, I'll tell you a story about it, right? Now, the popular tales in 17th century, and we know like Akbar and Birbal story. So, Akbar asked Birbal that if there was anyone who could make goats to resist green grass. Okay, that was the challenge he posed. So Birbal said it was a very small matter. I can do that. Give me a month to get it done. So Birbal, then he took that goat to his home, and he would place fresh green grass in front of the goat. And the moment it would try to eat that grass, of course, goat would love that grass, right? He would whack the goat severely on the mouth with a stick. And finally, even the goat's tiny intellect, whatever tiny intellect that it has, it figured out that the grass was too painful and the reward was not worth its while. So goat figured it out. Took it a little bit of while, but finally it figured it out. And after the month's training, Birbal brought the goat to Akbar's court. He announced to the king, "Your Majesty, the goat is trained. It will not eat even the most succulent grass, no matter what the incentive in front of it is." So Akbar said, "All right, sure enough, let's test it out." So he ordered his servants to bring in fresh grass, and he put the grass before the goat's nose. And Birbal on the side, he started twirling the stick on in his hand. Okay, so goat saw that, and guess what? It looked at the grass, it looked at the stick, and whether it will go for greed or go for fear, it went with fear. It turned its mouth away. Now, this was a simple experiment. I mean, not a simple experiment, but the point here is that it can be trained, and we are motivated by fear big time. Now, basic nature of creatures is, including humans as well, we all wish to avoid pain. This is our basic nature. On becoming aware of painful consequences of something, if an unintelligent goat can be trained, human mind can be trained as well. All it would take is to convince ourselves of the harm that it can cause us and the pain it can inflict upon us. And then we will be able to break the natural gravitational pull of bad habits automatically. You don't even have to do anything. If we are able to convince ourselves the bad or the negative consequence of indulging in that bad habit. And then we will continue on this topic on what are the kind of incentives or breeds we can fall to, and how can we channelize or propel this sentiment of fear that we all experience to avoid pain, to catapult our spiritual and material journey. Okay. So with that said, now let's move on to our shloka. I think I again reversed the order, but never mind. I will recite it and you're welcome to follow along. Na prahrishet न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विज्येत् प्राप्य चाप्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिर्सम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः. Okay, a bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, go ahead, please. Have a few hands.
Radhe Radhe Riya ji, please go ahead.
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः.
Very nice, thank you, Riya ji.
राधे राधे.
Let's take maybe 2 more hands and then we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji.
राधे राधे. न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः.
Okay, yes, Arun.
राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe.
न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः.
Very nice, thank you. Okay, we can take one more. Rupa ji, go ahead. Last one for the day, and then we get started.
Radhe Radhe everyone.
Radhe
Yeah.
Radhe.
न प्रहिष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः.
Very nice, thank you. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying established in God. He was talking about Sambhav, right? We are going to do a quick recap on that. And then he says established in God, when you have equanimous viewpoint, right? You look at every divinity in everything. And then you're having a firm understanding of divine knowledge and not hampered by delusion caused by ignorance. They neither rejoice in getting something pleasant nor grieve on experiencing the unpleasant. Okay. So let's move on and talk about this topic. We will do a quick build on from the previous shloka so that there's a continuity. Now we are fragments of the super soul. God is, as you can see, Sat, Chit, and Anand. Sat, Chit, Anand, eternal, ever blissful, and the perfect knowledge, infinite knowledge it has as well, right? So Sat, Chit, and Anand. And we as its fragmental parts, Jiva Shakti, we are Anusat, Anuchit, Anu Anand. Okay, this is the one basic difference between us and God. We are Anusat, Anuchit, Anu Anand. Now, when we realize self-realization, that question came up, right? Then we become self-realization is not complete as God realization. It's still less than that. It's like, if we understand the drop of an ocean, do we need to taste the ocean? No. We know this, it is going to be salty. But just by knowing the drop of an ocean, do you know the expanse and the depth of the ocean? No. Can you row a boat inside a drop of an ocean? No. So there is still a difference between self-realization is less than God realization. Okay, this is a key concept to be understood. A Gyan Yogi may say you are God, self-realized equal to God realization, but that's not the case. Okay. Now let's move on. And our nature is to love and be loved. We are all part of the same energy, and at the same time, our souls are not identical. Now we are all Anusat. Their souls, there is a difference, right? There's a unity in diversity and there's a diversity in unity. What is that? Now, if you look at the ocean, which gives rise to so many waves, they're all different from each other. Some are tall, some are short, forceful, some are gentle. That continues. Similarly, if you look at the trees, the leaves of the trees, they vary in size, shape, color, depending upon which side they are growing on, right? There is a variety there as well. Similarly, even though we have fragmental parts of the super soul, the individual souls, we all carry our own chitta vrittis, sanskars, and stuff like that, and unique characteristics. We all are different. Our retina scans is different. Our biometrics are different. Our body odor is different. That's why dogs can sniff out. Once they sniff out, they just know, is it a friend or somebody previously they have already become acquainted with. So everybody has unique characteristics. So in the previous shloka, God is saying, why Krishna is saying having sambhav, we share the same spiritual oneness and yet are unique individual, but there is a common denominator. We have the same spiritual uh, foundation, right? We are spirit souls, all of us. And that is where, the saintly people, they have that sammye. The word is used by Lord Krishna in the shloka as well to mean one possessed of an equal vision towards all living beings as explained in the previous verse. Now, equal vision. Now, you would say equal vision towards other pranis, all the species, and even the disembodied beings. You can extend it to that as well. Today only I was going through that lecture. It was pretty fascinating lecture, spiritual secrets from Hinduism, where, it's talking about Bhoot, Pret, Pishach, and, the Chudail and Betal. Okay, they are all entities. They do exist. They are all disembodied beings. They do exist. Now, if we become too attached, see why somebody becomes bhoot. It is a very miserable existence, first of all. Now, they can, like in movies, they show, right? I'm going to tell you why you would be wondering why am I bringing in all this. Okay, it's a Halloween topic, I get that. But there's a Saint Namdev, right? And there's a story of Maharaj as well. Maybe in one of the other sessions I'll talk about. He came, when he would sing bhajans in that village, there was a bhoot who used to dwell in a well, and bhoots, they have abilities to make their presence felt, right? Even in the story of Saint Tulsidas ji, I believe, a ghost helped him to meet Hanuman, when he went to Vrindavan. So there used to be a ghost, and then Saint Namdev, he was said that if you truly talk about, you have faith in God, why don't you go and fetch water from that well in the middle of the night? And he goes there and he says, and the ghost announces that if you do that, I'm going to kill you. So he was not deterred by that. He said, God, you come to meet me, Vitthal. He used to be a big worshipper of Vitthal Bhagwan. He said, you have come to meet me in so many forms. Today, I think you have taken on this form, so be it. So I put in the bucket and Vishnu Bhagwan manifested in front of him. So point is, this disembodied embodied beings also, they look at it with divinity, but they do exist. Right? Bhoots and people who reject this body, they continue to exist as ghosts. And then prets are the one who have a very strong attachment in this world. You don't want to leave a particular house, your family member, or a particular attachment you may have in this material world, then you may have to go around, roam around like a pret. Pishach are the ones who live near crematoriums and graveyards, usually in a community, and they have their own code language also that they talk in. And then Betals are the one who possess the bodies because it's a miserable existence. You have desires, you feel like eating, you feel like indulging in sensual gratification, but you cannot do that. So it's a very, very miserable existence. And then there are chudels also, right? So chudels are female ghosts. If you have been troubled by your in-laws or by your spouse or by your ex-boyfriend or somebody and you have a lot of resentment, then they can come back as chudel. But again, it's a miserable existence. I mean, it's not an aspiration to become that, but point is, be very careful how you're leading your life. You can end up becoming a pret. People who do a lot of intoxication, who have a lot of perverted tendencies, they can become pret. It's a very, very grotesque kind of an existence for an extended period of time, punishment for the kind of indulgence we do with this body. And you can become a bhoot. If, even a pret, if you have a lot of attachment with family and things like that, you don't want to leave your house, you don't want to leave your kid, you don't want to do this. God says, all right, become a pret for a while. And Chudail is a very, very dangerous existence. Okay, if you have a lot of bitterness for an extended period of time, you will keep on haunting the person. You may or may not be able to, but you will suffer in the process anyways. Okay, but Swamiji has categorically spoken about it, and it's an interesting video I came across today. Anyways, so the point here is, even in prets, you look at divinity. Okay, you don't get scared, and they cannot enter if you are having a sambhav. When you they bhoot pishach nikat nahi aave, Hanumanji's name, if you do that, and even if you're simply doing Radhe Shyam, Sitaram, they will not come. They don't have the power to possess you. But if you have weakened your Sankalp Shakti, that means your willpower, because of a lot of intoxication, negativity, and stuff like that, where you have absolutely no control over your emotions, then they can possess you. Okay. So become negative, become bitter, resentful, and stuff like at your own risk. Okay. Then you may have to repeat as a pret and a chudel, causing more harm for yourself. Now let's move on. Now there are some pictures. Now you'll say from Pareth, what am I trying to show here? Okay, you see the pictures, some contrasts I wanted to bring about. Anything interesting that you're observing here? Anything that stands out? Okay. Yes, Dhruval?
Yeah, I think one thing that I can see is that in all these sets, it's the same person, just in sort of different situations or different
Yeah.
experiencing different
One,
emotions.
yeah, one is excited, happy, another is in another picture, they are somber, sad, right? There's a fluctuation of emotions that is happening, right? Why do our emotions fluctuate? I'm going to tie the knot back to the shloka here, okay? Why do our emotions fluctuate? And what is Lord Krishna talking about? Is he asking us to stop smiling, to be happy and stuff like that? No. So let's try to look at it in perspective. Our emotions, they keep on fluctuating. We know that, right? They are some kind of a transient emotion or feeling that would come and go. And it can keep on fluctuating throughout the day. The other day I was talking about that story, right? The father, he saw his factory up in flames and he started wailing and crying. And then he's sad. He's really sad and upset. And then his son comes along and he says, father, forgot, this is not our factory. We sold it 3 days back. And then all of a sudden he's happy. Oh, thank God. It's not mine. So within a matter of a minute, he's fine now. But then the son says, by the way, father, the check that he has given has bounced off. Now father is again wailing. He's again, his heart is heavy. What, the check has bounced back again? It belongs to me. What if? And then he says, no, but that man is a man of honor. Okay, he's going to honor this deal, so don't worry about it. And then again he's happy. So this is how our emotions go. Based on where we are thinking about it, it's our inner world. Now, in the previous shloka, God is talking about the external world. You look at things with equanimity. sambhav. And in this one, he's talking about rejoice and, that the feeling of suffering and rejoicement. How do you look at it? Now we are going inner. He spoke about the outer world, look at it with equanimity. And now he's going to talk about the inner world. A thing does not have a happiness in it. It's our attachment to that particular thing, or an expectation of a particular outcome from that, or a feeling that this thing has a capability of giving me happiness. We derive different feelings from the same thing. A same car can give a joy to somebody. A same car can give a feeling of envy to somebody else, and the same car can give a feeling of being completely neutral to somebody else. Why? Because if the car truly had happiness, it would have given same joy and bliss to everybody. It's our inner feeling, inner world, how we associate to that object, that dictates the kind of emotion we go through at that particular moment in time. Yes, Rahul, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Radhe. I think Sam ji had raised his hand. Yeah, probably he had a doubt on the
Yes,
question.
Samji, please, you had a question?
Sam ji.
I don't know if it was a question, answering your question, our attachment to the materialistic, perishable, materialistic values,
True.
and that gave rise to the emotions fluctuate.
True. Our emotions fluctuate. It's because of our inner world. The outer world is very, very objective. The inner world is very subjective. The same thing can give happiness to somebody. Like I gave an example of a car. You brought a new car, it gave you extreme happiness because you think it is going to give me happiness. Your neighbor became envious looking at that car because said, oh my God, when am I going to have it? And somebody else who will say the car is something that you use to go from point A to point B. How does it matter? They are completely neutral to it. Now, car in itself does not have happiness. It's your emotion, your thought attached to that object that dictates what kind of emotion you go through that. Okay, so now the previous shloka is an external world that Lord Krishna is talking about, to have an equal vision towards people. Now we are going to go inwards and look at our own emotions, how we need to treat those in different circumstances. Okay, now this world has duality. Okay, before I get into that, now let's look at this example of a tennis match that is being played between two people. I spoke about the sportsman in the previous one. So what happens is, end of the match, what is going to happen is, unlike cricket, like people don't understand what kind of a game cricket is, where you continue to play and you don't play for a few hours, you play for 5 days. And then after that, nobody wins. And there is something called an honorable draw also. If you try to explain it to somebody here in America, they'll say, what kind of a crazy game are you talking about? First of all, you keep playing for 5 days and then there's nobody a winner. But nevertheless, typically in games, you have a winner coming out. Now, the person that won, that person will jump up in ecstasy over their victory. And on the other hand, the person who has lost, they will be having sinking shoulders and the feeling of loss, as we see, right, in so many matches. However, let's look at it from a spectator standpoint. They're merely watching the game, moving their head from side to side, right? That's one of the most funny sights you would see if you see somebody watching tennis, right? It'll be like this, saying no. So if you look at it from a spectator standpoint, they will they're just enjoying the match, unless of course you have some favorite that you're watching, then of course your heart will keep beating as well. But typically they enjoy the game and they will have no emotion either for the win or loss. All they are doing is enjoying the game. Something similar I was experiencing a few days back when I was watching US and Canada play T20 opening match. I mean, nobody cared who wins. You just wanted to um, enjoy that game. So the point here is that now your emotions are there, right? In the same way, it's a beautiful analogy that is used in the commentary. When one is purified, spiritually purified, antakaran shuddhi has happened, or as you keep on doing, then they are no longer affected by the dualities of material life. You look at it as, one of those things. So what's a big deal if somebody has won or somebody has lost, right? And this state of equanimity is a sign of spiritual advancement. So it's not a 0-1, it's a journey. In fact, it reminds me of one of the interviews of Dhoni. I think he also refers to Bhagavad Gita. In one of his interviews, he was talking about it. So he gave a very interesting remark in one of his interviews, which I found very, very, very nice and inspiration. I could immediately map it back to Bhagavad Gita. So somebody asked him, After, India beat Pakistan in another World Cup match under his captaincy, he said, "Oh, India has a clean record, 7 out of 7 against Pakistan. So how does it make you feel?" So he gave a very stoical answer. He said, as long as we follow the process, results will take care of it by themselves. There will be a day we will lose to them. The end of the day in T20 games, there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. But for me, as long as we have gone through the drills and followed the process, that's what matters to me. I give a very, very balanced answer to that. That doesn't mean you have a formula for success, right? You might have played your best game and yet lost, and you might have played a subpar game and might still win on that particular day. That's how things go in life. So the key concept here is to accept both the results with equanimity as opposed to getting too hung up on that or getting sidetracked in our heads with the results. Okay, that is the key message here. Let's move on. Now, if you look at the world, it's made in dualities. We have day, so we have night. If we have something sour, we have something sweet as well. We have hot and cold. We have rain and drought. So these are the two sides of a coin, right? So too God has created this world full of dualities. Now, spiritual maturity is to start rising above these. It starts with the emotions. Of course, you will feel cold. You need air condition and you need blankets. That is an advanced stage, Videha part of it. But what he's saying is this success and failures, treat both of them as imposters and deal with them with equanimity as opposed to getting infatuated or depressed with either one of these. Now, moving on. Now, this is what it is: happiness, distress, then victory and defeat. And then you have fame, and then infamy can happen as well. All those things, when you are riding these emotions, enjoying these emotions, or feeling affected by these emotions, you're actually incurring binding karma. And if you simply sail it with equipoise, then it is a non-binding karma. It is a non-binding karma. It takes you closer to peace. It takes closer to bliss. And of course, that draws God's grace as well. So this is the advantage of practicing that. Like a pendulum, stay in the middle. Don't try to go wildly from side to side just because things are going against you or are going for you, kind of a deal. So that is the key message. Now, even Ramayana, if you look at it, now in this world, nobody can neutralize the dualities and have positive. Even Ramayana, if you look at, we have a classic case. Lord Ram himself, his divine pastimes, he was exiled to the forest the day before he was to be crowned as the king of Ayodhya. Now, did he start crying and wailing? Right? He said that I have been given another Rajya today, a forest. And he was very calm. If you go back to the Ramayana and look at it, such a calm demeanor he had. He simply accepted it and walked off, rather saying, "Oh my God, what has happened to me," kind of thing. So there are tons of stories like that in our scriptures as well, how to treat these kind of situations and adversities that might come your way, because everything is temporary in that sense. And another example of nature is, you see, it's a beautiful rose the nature has created, but then it also has an ugly thorn. So this is the duality of this world, which we have to deal with. So not get infatuated by things that we like and not get, depressed or develop aversion to things that are not palatable to us, is the key message that we have to just sail through those moments. And this is how life is. Okay, you look at the road, then one happy moment and your life again. Okay, this is how it's meant to be. Don't think that it is going to be a red carpet or a perfect road throughout. And that is how this world is created. And when we make inner growth our topmost priority in our life, failures becomes learnings. That is the key thing. We should neither, rejoice things. Rejoice means you accept it. Okay, I know, but this will not stay for long, right? So let me accept it and continue to strive. That will take you closer to peace. If you get agitated, overjoyed, then you will get depressed and sad, and when things will not go. So that is a secret mantra God is telling you about. It takes you closer to peace. It may sound counterintuitive, but that is the secret. You may think I have to enjoy and relish this moment because I deserve it. That is fine. But if you ride it, then you are you've already dug a pit for yourself when things don't go well for you. If you simply tolerate it and continue to do the good work, the feeling of peace and tranquility will not leave you. And that is essentially what Lord Krishna is talking about. Start rising above these dualities, simply accept it and stay focused on the job at hand, which is your spiritual progress. Okay, any questions before I get into some of the stories, if at all?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji.
Radhe Sandhya.
Actually, you have kind of discussed this, but I'll still bring this up. So Manisha Di has asked this question. Any tool which can help us see everything with Sambhav, as I think it will be very difficult. Maybe it's possible depending on the people or situation, but still.
It is difficult for sure. That's why I think one of the thing we said, okay, bring the person whom you hate the most in your head and see how you can stay neutral. We can't directly switch on to love that person, but see how you can at least train yourself to remain neutral for that person. If you could, then I think that would be a good practice. Now, easier said than done, but this is something we have to practice sooner or later. If we don't do it now, maybe in some other life, we have to learn that lesson. Uh, there are multiple ways of looking at it. If somebody who has troubled you or has been troubling you, he may be delivering your package to you like a postman. Do we fight with a postman? Why did you bring bad news? We don't fight with a postman. We simply accept whatever because he's simply doing the job of delivering something that truly belongs to you. That's one way of looking at it. Though might have a karmic debt that you're erasing at that point, or it may be a bad timing. Regardless, end of the day, do you want to harm your own spiritual journey or do you want to come out of it better and stronger? That choice is always with you. Now, if you say, no, I deserve to get my dopamine rush by venting out my anger, by harboring my resentment, and every day, every morning, I'll wake up and get that resentment, from this person. Who's the loser end of the day? So, thinking that big picture in mind, I think we need to invest on ourselves. It is auspicious for us and all around. But what are you going to do? Would you let somebody rent your mind for free? It is being very foolish of ourselves if we let anybody rent our mind for free. We should charge everybody, right, to rent anything that belongs to us. And here we are willing to let anybody rent our mind for free when we are harboring resentment. What kind of a smartness that is? Of course, it is spiritual immaturity, but what are we gaining out of it? And then you may end up becoming Pret, Pishach, um, what were the other categories? Betal or even a Chudail, right? So why to get into that part of a thing? So for our own sake, for our own good, we need to let go of it. But if we are hung up on, committing harakiri for our spiritual life, then even God can't save us. This is how it's meant to be. So we have to again tell ourselves we are in it on a long game. It's a marathon that we are running. Don't just think about your immediate gratification that you're trying to get here by venting out something. You are in for a long haul. Why would you want to mess up your spiritual journey for the sake of these small things here and there, right? Infinite lifetimes we have picked up infinite resentments. Why do we want to add to our causal body so that we are making another business case to repeat again in this world, whether as a disembodied beings or unembodied beings, whatever the case may be, or as a different species? But why are we adding to that stockpile? So for our own sake, we need to stay away from these things, and that is what spiritual maturity is. That is what the message of Bhagavad Gita says. Yes, Ajit ji. Today we spoke about a lot about bhoots. Okay, I don't know why I like that topic, so I just brought in.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Nitinji, yesterday election results, if you analyze and see,
I put
whatever
that picture.
session you
Okay,
have conducted,
hope you
whatever
picked.
session you have conducted, that is very appropriate and matching to that. And
That's why I
same thing
picked
I observed
two
that
pictures
whatever
related
session you are
to.
taking,
Sorry,
please,
I don't want to interrupt you.
please.
I think I purposely
No,
put
no,
that picture here today.
please
Yeah.
continue. Continue.
No, I said I purposely put that picture here because it's election time. I know the counting is going on. And, just by talking to people, looking at their mood, I can make out they're not very happy. So many things, absolute maturity didn't come. So I put Modi ji here as well today. Yes, Ajit ji, please continue.
Yeah, actually, yesterday the election was between the two persons, Rahul Gandhi from the Congress and Narendra Modi from BJP. And these two personality, if you try to analyze and see what process they have gone through to conduct the election and win the thing. Rahul Gandhi was concluded that he will not get, but he won the election, even though they have not got the appropriate number of the seats. But they are in the full moon as far as emotions are concerned. And as far as Modi ji is concerned, it's a vice versa.
True.
But
See, it's like if
yesterday,
Australia loses to Australia not loses to Bangladesh is able to make a draw out of a match out of something, they'll still celebrate, right? So it's relative.
yeah,
Success is relative in that sense, if you look at it.
yeah. So this is against the expectation.
Yeah,
Life is duality, full of duality, definitely.
true. Yep.
That we have to accept. And success and failure, happiness and sad. Similarly, you see the heart rate, bit rate. It's up and down, then you are living. If it is stable, equanimous, then you are considered as a dead. So life is a mix of all the things, all emotions. And we have to follow the process, just like Dhoni, you said. And tool to check economics is the process through which you are going through.
True.
That will decide your end result, probably.
Yeah. And I think one of the analogy that we can always remember is, which is my personal favorite at least, is like, so it's easy to say, stay neutral or equanimous when you are feeling distressed. But one would argue, okay, if I have worked hard for something and I have earned it, why should I not become overjoyed about it? Right? It's very difficult to say. Do you think, should I become boring now? You think I don't even have a right to enjoy my own hard work and stuff like that? Which is a pretty valid question, right? So it is like this again. So when you relinquish, you can't relinquish. Of course, you're feeling that high from within. You will feel that because of your conditioned state or otherwise. But then you have an ability to bring that knowledge and overpower it with equanimity, stability, and without, losing your head in those things. It can happen too. Then what happens? So God is not conjuice makhi choose. If you are sacrificing that high feeling that you are entitled to at that moment, what he will give you in return, we can't even imagine. It's like that mouse trap. If the mouse only lets go of that trap, the whole go down is open. That possibility of whole go down is opened in front of it. So God says, trust me. Start aligning to these principles and see what you get in return. It's not that you will become nearest, you'll become boring, you'll become serious now, and nothing. What he's going to give you in return is going to be much more superior and precious and lasting, is essentially what the message is. And that will also enable you to have more resilience when the going gets tough, because life is not a bed of roses, right? Rose also has thorns. And this picture pretty much sums up how the life is meant to be, right? If you see this picture on the right, um, I love this picture. So on the right hand side, this is how life is for everyone. So when the rough road comes, then you'll be well equipped to handle that. But if you choose to ride your emotions, then it's that mix will continue. Plus, second thing is you are doing a binding karma. God says you already encashed yourself. Why should I give you something? You encashed yourself only. You did not go for the currency I was willing to give you. You got your own currency by riding that emotion. Then it's a binding karma. You pay the price for it because that is a bhog I want to enjoy. You took it as part of your own enjoyment. That endeavor was not offered to God. So it becomes a binding karma as well from that sense. Okay. Yes, Sandhya, any other question?
Um, a few comments, and I also wanted to make a comment. So, actually, two things. So, one is that if we zoom out, these fluctuations kind of get dampened. Like, if we look at a bigger picture, we can see that, like, overall, if I say I look at like 20 years behind, right? There must have been many of these fluctuations, but on an overall basis, one can see on a bigger vision that one has grown, right? So that's also a matter of perspective that we can bring in to kind of, to some extent, rise above these dualities, and which brings me to witness consciousness, right? Every time become an observer and look at things from different visions. So then that can probably help in dealing with these situations. So that's one thing I wanted to add. Then there is a comment from Prachi ji. This Pret, Betal, and Chudail seems to be a smart motivation and incentive to stay on the path. And this last one from Kamla ji.
That's the reason I brought in, because I found it pretty fascinating, right? If we are overly attached to something, you could become a prey, right? Because you don't want to leave that. Think of it logically. We don't want to leave a particular location, a house. We become so attached to that place, those things. So our soul wants to hover around, and God says, all right, see as a disembodied being, how long you enjoy that. And then ghost anyway, if you reject your body prematurely, that is a miserable existence. And then and that is called tamasic bhakti also. People do that, right? Tantrics and all that stuff they go about. And if you're harboring resentment, you could become a pishach or a chudail anyway. So that is always there. And some people are in a hurry to do that. They say, no, we want to do it because we deserve it, right? Nobody can stop them from that. So it is called spiritual harakiri. They are in a hurry to do a harakiri. So yeah, that can continue as well.
And
Yes.
just one comment from Kamla ji with in respect to this image on the right. It is said pleasure is an interval between two pains and vice versa.
Very true. That's very true. See, again, we go very true. That is how it is sandwiched in life, right? It's never supposed to be a bed of roses throughout. Yes, Tejas?
Yeah, I mean, to add a little bit on the fluctuation of life, and you have a smooth road, and then you have a kacha road. A lot of people do journaling, right? I mean, they do journaling because they see over a period of time how their life is and how they reacted, and the end game is like you have plus and minus, and then it's basically neutralized throughout in a period of time, basically. So when you journal something, people actually recommend that, and then you can see it yourself, basically.
True.
So I just wanted to
Yeah,
bring in.
journaling is good. It also gives you a good understanding of how your thought process was some time back and
Right.
how it is, right? So you can actually observe your trajectory on this path as well.
And you become your own observer, right?
You
Basically.
become yeah. Spirituality is all about reading yourself as a book as opposed to reading others.
Right.
It's like getting to know thyself more, and it's all a personal journey only. Yeah, very true.
Right.
And again, the spirituality, I think one of the journaling aspect where it helps the most is, like I said, when we get onto this path, initially we feel very motivated. We feel everything is all good, and we feel everything we are going to do, to the best of our abilities, and we feel very, very motivated, inspired. But then comes that zone where those sanskars may evaporate, or your bad sanskars might come in. And that's when the thing that you found an easy going might become difficult. You're not feeling so much motivated anymore. And that is where, if you're maintaining a journal, would help you get back to it quickly, because then you can go back, hey, what inspired me to begin with? How did I feel it that way at that moment? That will help you to get back on track quickly.
And sometimes we are too happy, we will forget all the things like what had disturbed us or what had made us feel bad, right? And then you won't bring that into the equation, and you will feel really bad that this happiness is not there anymore or not persistent anymore, right?
Yep.
So you keep a note of that. It'll help you to see the overall picture.
Thank you, Tejas. Yes, Seena ji.
Yeah,
And
Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
one more thing I
Yeah,
wanted to add, Seena ji, before I take is,
yeah,
see,
sure.
if we don't utilize our sankalp shakti properly. Sankalp shakti means our willpower. Let's say we lead a life which is um, a lot of sensual indulgence, or a lot of intoxication, or a lot of resentment and stuff. Then also, as a punishment, God can put us in one of these yonis as well. So it's very important to use our Sankalp Shakti properly as well. And if our Sankalp Shakti has become weak, then also we can get under the sway of these kind of things that we hear about, right? So, but anyways, if you are actually thinking about God and you have God in your life, then of course we don't have to worry about it. So devotion is the panacea, yeah, for everything, cure for everything. It's a silver bullet for everything. So devotion, having a prayerful, loving heart, is the symptom of a devotee. So that is something we need to focus on regardless. Yes, Sinaji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, as we go through this journey of spiritualism, there comes a stage, where our mind, and after listening to Swamiji, so much, you start believing that, that Radha Krishan will never do anything, he always cares for for all his devotees. So even
Right.
when the bad time comes, your mind will start believing, that you don't know why that bad time is coming, but you'll say, okay, maybe isme bhi mera kuch acha hi hai, means there is something good is there even during this bad time. And that's where, as you go through this journey of spiritualism, you'll start controlling your emotions, because your mind starts believing that, whatever is happening, he is doing it, and no matter whether it's the bad time or good time, he will never do bad for you. So you'll start, it will give you a positive energy, and you'll start looking for the positive things even during those bad times, or those negative times. So that's the power of spirituality, and that comes over time as we keep on progressing on this path.
Very true. And I'm glad you brought that point. In fact, we think that God's grace is when things are going smooth for us, right? He will give us more of material world. But actually, um, when God starts gracing, he starts taking you away from the material world, but then he will not give you test more than what you are capable of. So be, from that standpoint, we don't have to freak out thinking about that. And think about Narsi Mehta, famous thing, right? His whole house was on fire. His family got burnt. And I forgot his famous statement. I think maybe somebody here would remember that, where he said, now, he's told Krishna that you complete, finished off whatever janjal was the remaining. Now I can solely focus on you. Just imagine a guy who's lost his wife, his family, pretty much everything in a fire. And he said, okay, God, maybe that's what you wished now, so that I can solely focus on you only. That was his sentiment. But yes, you are right, Sinaji. We need to do it in our limited ability and push our envelope, our limits, where we accept things and look, basically look out for God's grace even in adverse situations. It's if we can do that sentiment we can do, it will draw more of God's grace and utilize it for our inner growth. Great point. Thank you. Yes, Pratyusha.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe everyone, Radhe Radhe sir. Actually, I just wanted to share one meditation that I came across today by Swamiji. It was in the morning gems class that I randomly decided to join today. Actually, I wanted to join for last few days. So what happened in that meditation was we were asked to think about some addiction or something that we are very very something that gives us pleasure, and then we were made to visualize that the same thing in various kinds of like people, so say suppose anger, so what all different situations are coming to actually show this, show that you have this in you. And then eh, once we realize that, then this, okay, this is the reason for your pain. If you leave anger, if you take pleasure also, then you are running behind it, and
Mhm.
because of that, this is the reason for your pain. And
Very
then
true.
yeah, and then he just asked us to imagine a cord that is connected to all of these people and this emotion, and then cut it and just tie it to Krishna's legs, feet. And it was such a beautiful experience. And then, randomly when I was thinking something, I just started thinking of Krishna's feet. So just, you just connect whatever you are going through, or whatever resentment or whatever it is, to Krishna's feet, and that perspective will change everything. It will just bring it in front of you.
Thank you, Pratyusha, for bringing it out. I think the word that Swamiji uses in that meditation is yoked. Like, the horses are yoked to those reins, yoked your mind, yoked to God's feet, right? God's feet are so attractive, so magnetic, that even God, puts his feet in his mouth at times to see, "Hey, what is so special about those," right? That Leela is there. Yeah, it's a nice meditation. And God's feet from which the Ganges emanates. A lot of people, they meditate. I try to do that at times as well. So It's a great way to meditate, actually, looking at his feet and meditating upon that, and having all of your thoughts, emotions, everything flow down to his feet, nothing else at that moment. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, Rahul?
Yeah, Maharaj Ji has a beautiful bhajan also where he says two lines. तेरी कृपा तो कृपा है प्यारी, तेरा कोप भी कृपा है प्यारी. When we were talking about snatching away all those material things, then yeah, this logic fits in pretty well there.
Very nice. Thank you, Rahul, for bringing that. Maharaj ji, uh, you talk about devotion, you talk about the sentiment, you talk about Tattva Gyan. Even if you listen to his lectures, all the Tattva Gyan of scriptures is there. There is absolutely nothing you cannot find. Like Swamiji was telling this time in the retreat, that put together all the literature of all the saints, what Maharaj ji has created is head and shoulders above what the previous saints have created, and it's not for no reason that he was Jagat Gurutam, right? And we are so fortunate to be coming in association, even though not directly, to this knowledge and to his association. Nobody can be any more lucky, telling you. It's such a huge blessing from that sense. Yes, Tejas.
Yeah, the other thing when you mentioned about the Bhoot, Pret, the Pichar, like when you look at a lot of Shiva stories, right? Like all like he stays in the Smashan and now he's with Bhoot, Pitar, Bhoot, Pret, and Pichar. It also shows that God is giving Sharnagat even to such kind of souls as well, right? I mean, it kind of gives you that magnanimous demeanor of God, like he's ready to even accept. Like the other day you were mentioning about doing, like he takes your dirty laundry, right? Like in this case, through his stories it shows that he's ready to accept even
Yep.
those kind of rules as well.
True. Very true. Like I said, right, the best definition for us of God is Patit Pavan. If you simply accept we are Patit, he is willing to purify us. But the problem is our ego comes in the way. So we don't even consider ourselves Patit. So that's the best
So
definition from us.
giving chance for them also to go in the correct path, to purify and to go do the course correction.
You know the story of Ajamil, right? He's more than willing to do the course correction for us, whether through an ND experience or however, but he's more than willing to help us out when we have. That is why I said whatever effort you have put on the path of devotion never goes waste. He's going to bring it back and give you multiple opportunities. We only have to be reciprocate and latch on to those opportunities and continue to do our best. Thank you, Tejas. Yes, Sandhya. Do we have a hard stop at 10 today, or we don't have that session?
I think we will have a hard stop because I haven't received any notification
We
that the
have
session is not there.
420 seconds. Okay, go ahead.
So Manisha Di, another question, and I think now that this Bhoot Pishach topic is going on, so a related one.
Bhoot, Pishach, Chudel, and Betal.
Pret,
Pret
Betal.
and yeah.
Okay.
Halloween, we are going to do much more extensive discussion on this. Okay. Yeah.
We have a video also that we can show anyway. So does Pitra also falls into the category of having too much attachment towards the family and the offering they made to them?
See, Swamiji, you can ask that in Kali Yuga, actually, truly, that is rituals, performing it to perfection is not possible. We do it for our own closure. But yeah, too much of attachment, you can go to Pitri Lok. Pitri Lok is there as well, right? Even Dashrath, I think there's a mention of Pitri or Pindadan that Ram Bhagwan also did for Dashrath there as well. But if you're doing it as a matter of duty, that is a different thing. But excessive attachment to anybody means anybody, would result in attaining them only, right? So if they have gone to Pret Yoni, you will also become Pret. If they have gone to animal Yoni, you'll also go to that Yoni. So better lay your bets on the right horse. And the only right horse you will find in this world is God himself and Guru, okay, nobody else. Risky, it's very, very risky otherwise. Okay. Yes, Ajitji, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Actually, I was having opinion that it is shared in the spirituality that whatever your action is there in the last moment, last breath, you
Yes.
get the birth in the next birth as well.
Yes.
So But by having this learning, this bhoot, pret, and all these things, it seems that God is so merciful that even for those negative desires also, He allows to fulfill.
True.
This is my learning.
He's an
It
indulgent
reinforced,
father. Yeah.
it reinforced my belief as well. And secondly, I forgot. Thank
No
you,
worries.
Radhe Radhe.
See, I'll tell you, God is very merciful. So even in Bhoot Pret Yoni, in fact, there used to be ghosts who would trouble a person, right? And Maharajji went to their house and he said, "What natak you guys are doing?" And then he told this Pishach or Bhoot, whatever he was, Pishach is an more powerful bhoot, I would say, that okay, why don't you do Radhe Radhe? And then this ghost started forming his mandali in the forest. That's where he would live, and they started doing Radhe Radhe. So the point here is that even for those, God has some kind of a provision. In fact, it is said that, if you look at Mahadev's Bharati, they get to participate in Bharat and be part of the procession also. So Mahadev accepts everybody. That is why he's Ashutosh, right? Ashutosh. I mean, Ashutosh name itself is so nice. He's called Bhole Shankar, Ashutosh, and Mahadev, and then he takes all them as a Bharati along with him, and they are accepted there, even though they are in that yoni. So that is why if you actually Shiv Bhagwan, you see real, you will freak out because of the people that associate he has taken in his shelter. So God is merciful; He gives them opportunity, but then yes, you have to go through that. Penalty for disobeying the laws or rejecting the body or indulging excessive indulgence in misutilizing your human form. So of course you have to go through that punishment as well. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I just heard that there is no class after hours. So,
Uh,
and did you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So we don't have a hard stop today.
Oh, we don't have a hard stop, then we can do the chanting today. Any other question? I would encourage you to fill out the feedback tracker today. Any questions that you may have as well? I think Rahul has just posted that. So thank you, Rahul, for that.
There is a comment
Which comment? Yes, go
from
ahead.
Dhruvil. भूत पिशाच बटोरी दिगंबर शिव खेले मसाने में होरी. For what Tejas mentioned, it said Shivji plays Hori in Manikarnika Ghat, where cremation happens, with Bhoot Pisach and outcasts.
Yeah. Lord Shiv is very merciful. He takes care of them as well. They are accepted. So that is true. Anyways, it's a Halloween topic. We'll discuss more. It is from our spiritual standpoint, all we need to learn from that part is don't get excessively attached. Don't get excessively bitter, resentful, because then we are making a business case for ourselves to get into one of these yonis. So, okay, it's Rahul.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Just wanted to make few announcements before we move to the devotional section.
Sure.
So if we are planning to have a vacation in the month of July, then you might consider spiritual vacation for the whole family with Swamiji. So the link is already there in the chat, and right now there is some discounted price going on for the family camp and the spiritual retreat. So do check it out. It is from July 4th to July 10th at Radha Krishna Temple of Palace. Anything else, Sandhya, you wanted to add?
Yoga Fest, like that's coming up in this month. So, and Swamiji will be here in person, June 21st to 23rd. Lot of exciting events, including 108 Surya Namaskars that you can do with a community of like-minded individuals. So, yeah, not to be missed. And we also have, I mean, Pujya Bhai Shri Ojha ji,
Ramesh Bhai Oza. Yeah.
Ramesh Bhai Ojha ji. He does Bhagavatam lectures. So he's going to come here in person and he's going to deliver a satsang here at Radhakrishna Temple. I'm sure that will also be broadcasted live. So stay tuned for that. I'm also really excited to hear him and meet him in person. So yeah.
And
Thank
don't
you.
forget about the healthy cooking contest and then the soothing sound healing concert, which was a big hit last year.
Yeah,
So
all
do check
part
it
of the
out.
Yoga Fest. Yes.
Sound
Okay.
was pretty fascinating. So if you have not tried it, do try that. It was very nice. Some people, they said they had transcendental experience. I don't know what it, but yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Okay, I'll start
Okay,
sharing the screen for the devotional segment.
let's move to our devotional segment. We'll do a few chants and then we'll wrap it up.
And quick reminder, the feedback tracker, attendance tracker has been shared, so please fill it out. Okay. This is new, right? No, wait a minute.
This one we did. I think the next 33 we have to do, and it is in continuation of this
I
only.
think I had the 33 also somewhere. Can you just give me? Yeah, that I can share it now. Right? Yeah, we can do this now. श्याम समझ से श्याम को समझ सके सबको ये राधे राधे श्याम समझ तब मिलई जब समझ समर्पित हो ये राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे. Anyone who receives Sri Krishna's divine intellect can understand him, but that divine intellect is bestowed only when we surrender our material intellect at his lotus feet.
Very nice. Thank you. Let's take a couple of more hands. Then we'll...
Radhe Radhe Riya ji.
राधे राधे. श्याम समुझ से श्याम को समझ सके सबको ये राधे राधे श्याम समुझ तब मिले जब समुझ समर्पित हो ये राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे राधे राधे.
It's a beautiful verse. Maharaj ji is saying that one can know Krishna only through Krishna's intellect. And how do we get Krishna's intellect or divine intellect? Only when we surrender to him. So by our intellect we cannot, for which we need God's intellect, Krishna's intellect, and Krishna's intellect we can get through a perfect surrender. So it goes back to the same Tattva Gyan, right? Bhagavad Gita talks the same principle. So Maharaj ji has explained it so beautifully. So Shyam Samarpit Samaj. Now Shyam ji is going to sing that. Please go ahead, Shyam ji. You'll do poetic justice to this. Living
That
up.
too from Vancouver this time.
Oh, you're at Vancouver.
So close to US.
Yeah.
Nice.
So much, boss.
Shyam ji,
Yeah.
go ahead, please.
Radhe Radhe.
Welcome to Canada.
Thank you. Yeah. श्याम समुझ से श्याम को समझ सके सबको ये राधे राधे श्याम समझ तब मिले जब समझ समर्पित हो ये राधे राधे जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे राधे राधे. Thank you so much.
Radhe Radhe, very nice, Shyam ji. Okay, last word, Swati ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, राधे राधे. श्याम समझ से श्याम को समझ सके सबको ये राधे राधे श्याम समझ तब मिले जब समुझ समर्पित हो ये राधे राधे. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Swati ji. Thank you very much. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. Tomorrow we'll continue on this shloka. Also, we have spiritual cash up segment tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night, good day from my side. Stay blessed and have a wonderful and a devotional rest of your day and evening. Thank you, everybody. Bye.